Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this your daily go getism number 696 for August 29th, 2016. Alright, so tonight I want to talk to y'all about being guilty by association. Being guilty by association, which really means that you didn't do nothing, but you know somebody, you're related to somebody, you're familiar with somebody, you agree with somebody. The real problem with being guilty by association is that it leads to labeling, and I'm going to explain to y'all in a second what the labeling theory is and how that works and why we should have a problem with that. And it also leads to profiling. And any black people who are watching this should really be concerned about profiling, because we know that racial profiling is something that befalls us quite often, and it's a disrespectful concept, but it's one that we have unfortunately gotten pretty used to over the years. And when I say the years, I mean actually a couple of centuries now, but especially for about 150 years. So when we start talking about the labeling theory is a theory in sociology where it is believed that if you keep calling somebody something, then eventually they become what you are calling them. So it's not that they started off being exactly what you called them, but they may have displayed some of the behaviors of whatever you put the label on them to be, and then after a while, because they couldn't escape that label, they actually submitted to that label, and that's who they had become. So let's say you had been on drugs for a while, and even after you got clean off drugs, people still kept labeling you as a drug addict. You're a crackhead, you're a dope fiend. You still ain't nothing but old crackhead or dope fiend. You ain't never gonna be nothing to me but an old crackhead. I remember what you did. I know who you really are. I don't care if you ain't getting high right now. We know who you are. You'll be getting back high again. See, it's all labeling. So when that person, if that person should backslide or relapse or battle their addiction again, then it's like, well, I don't see what the use was in getting clean in the first place, because nobody ever treated me like I had ever gotten clean. They always kept calling me a dope fiend or a crackhead and whatever. And I wasn't even getting high. I was clean for months. I was clean for years. But people don't want to let that go. Same thing as if you're a thief or a liar. People will always look at you as a thief or a liar. And I'm sure there are people watching this video right now that's saying, no, yeah, you're right. Because once a thief, always a thief. Once a liar is always a liar. I don't know about that, because I'll tell you this. People do things as long as things work for them. They'll continue to do anything that is working for them, but when things stop working, then they are forced to make a change, because they're not going to win with the old ways that they were doing things. So if lying got you everywhere that you needed to be, then why would you stop lying? But if you find that lying is now getting you in trouble and it's not helping you reach the end that you were trying to, then why would you keep lying? It's one of those things. So as long as lying is working for you, you don't have any reason to stop lying. But once lying stops working for you, once it stops doing for you what it used to do, of course, you're going to have to put those lies to rest. Let's give the truth a chance. So when we start talking about, well, that's the labeling theory. Now, whether you believe in it or not, because plenty of people will look at the labeling theory and say, well, regardless of what I say about you, if you're not what I say you are, then you're not what I say you are. But if you become what I said that you are, then I was right. You were what I said you were. It's not a good look, because if you used to, okay, if you're guilty by association, for example, if you used to be on drugs but now you're off drugs, but you still hang around with people or still associate with people or still are friends with people who are in the drug game, then people are going to believe that you haven't stopped getting high or that you're just waiting to start getting high again after you get off probation or parole or stop going to church or whatever it is that brings people back to their addiction. So they make you guilty by association. They don't know if you were trying to help out whoever it is that you hang around with that's still in that life. They don't know that. So they're just going off of what you used to do before. So they don't like history to change. And that's one of the problems when it comes to being guilty by association. The people who are looking at you in this light and painting you into that corner don't want to believe that change is possible. They want things to stay exactly the way they are because they recognize them, and it's easier for them to navigate their way through them or around them or work with them. So they don't believe in change. So although you've changed, so of course you believe in change, they haven't changed and they don't believe in change. So they looking at you sideways, and that ain't right. Same thing as Muslims being labeled as Islamic extremists or terrorists or whatever. If there were that many if there were that many Muslims that were aligned with so-called Islamic extremists or terrorists or whatever, then this country would already be doomed. You know? Guilty by association. I mean, I'll say this. For the most part, most people generalize. And it makes life easier for us to lump everybody into a certain category because you don't have to spend your time getting to know somebody and getting to know who they really are, as long as you can label them and as long as you can lump them into a certain category. So then you know how to deal with all of them instead of just the one. Does that make any sense to you? Because it doesn't make any sense to me. Everybody deserves a decent first chance. First chance. I ain't promise you nothing after that. You get one. You show me that I was right about you all along after that first try. Well, I'm not saying that I'm going to hate you after that or cut you off, but you won't have the opportunity to be able to prove to me in that way again that you are different, because you've already messed that up. You fumbled that ball. So, yeah. So, what do we have? We have black people. First of all, we have Muslims that are guilty by association because of some sect of some Muslims who are actually, you know what, I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to, because the bottom line is not all Semitic people, and when I say Semitic people, I'm not talking about Jews. Semitic people believe in the whole jihadist movement. It's not about jihad for all Semitic people. So we need to do something about that. We got to get these things straight. Same way, like, I'm a black man in America. I could be guilty by association. I could be labeled as a deadbeat dad or absentee father. I could be labeled as shiftless and shiesty and having bad credit, don't like to pay my bills. I could easily be labeled all of those things as a black man. Does that mean that's who I am? No. Does it mean that I know people who are like that? Plenty. But I refuse to be guilty by that association. But some people might try to lump me into that corner. Let me miss a child support payment or something like that, and they find out about it. Oh, all y'all black men are the same. No, we're not. Not any one of anything, or not all of anything, are all the same. We're all individuals, and we need to start treating each other as such. So don't make people guilty by association, because it just ain't right. That'd be like me saying that all Christians ain't nothing but a bunch of money grubbing, Cadillac driving pastors. It's not true. So let's stop acting like it's true. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind, and anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, man, all of this labeling. Remember the labeling theory, man. Just stop calling people what they're not, or calling people what they used to be, and not acknowledging the fact that they have made significant changes in their lives and that they're moving on. Let's not do ourselves the disservice of painting people into those corners, because somebody might be painting us right into that same corner. Black people, Muslims, Mexicans, all foreigners. Y'all know Donald Trump. All foreigners, all legal and legal immigrants are coming under fire right now. Man, we got it. Anyway, y'all have a great night. Real great, you know what I'm saying? And don't forget about the Mind Right Body Better fitness program coming up this Saturday. Because it's going to be the bomb. Simple as that. It's the 3rd of Saturday, September 3rd. And this is Labor Day weekend. Alright, man. Alright. Let's just leave it right there. No labeling. No guilty by association.